Coinbase has been hit with a $100 million settlement. So Evan, give us kind of the overview on what's going on here. I'll share my screen and we'll go over some of the stories that we've been following around Coinbase and some money laundering allegations here.
This can be a quick one. So, with FTX and so much of what's been going on in the crypto space, there's a lot of mistrust. Coinbase has not escaped that either. So here's some important things about what's going on here. So they've been fined $100 million by the New York Department of Financial Services over anti-money laundering and know your customer standards. And so I wanted to kind of explain what that means. So KYC, or know your customer, is basically a process that financial institutions, banks, financial services go through to basically confirm the identity of anybody joining their service. Because if you're opening bank accounts and moving money around, they want to make sure that anybody that has access to this financial services market or anything related to the banking system are real people. They're not terrorists. They're not committing crimes that involve money laundering. So it's a way basically for banks to know that the people that they're enabling with their financial services are not criminals using it in a bad way. And so there's a lot of technology that companies use to do that. And Coinbase just didn't meet the standards. They allowed people using their services in ways that are not ideal. So if you scroll down here, basically they allowed a Coinbase customer to move money who previously was charged with sexual abuse crimes related to children. And that person, through Coinbase, was able to move money in suspicious ways through the crypto markets. And Coinbase, again, enabled that. And so this is just a case where these new financial services, whether it's crypto, Bitcoin exchanges, or even new neobanks that have popped up, they've got to make sure that their customers are being regulated and it's a safe environment when it comes to moving money. So it's really important stuff. And Coinbase just got slapped with, again, $100 million of a fine, which one part of that is $50 million that's just going to come out of their bank account. The other $50 million is they have to invest heavily in their KYC and anti-money laundering standards and procedures. So that's kind of the whole story there.
Yeah, the one last thing that, I'll just call it two kind of interesting details about this is first that Coinbase shares closed up 12% on this news. And I think what's interesting about this is kind of what their CEO, Brian Armstrong, says about this. And it says, despite the prevailing notion that crypto companies don't want to be regulated, many, if not most companies have been working with policymakers for years. I think that's what's something that is really needed in crypto is some more type of regulation. There's definitely a balance here. You don't want to have an overarching, amount of regulation that really hinders the amount of innovation that can happen, but also it can't be the Wild West. We're seeing that with the fallout from FTX. That's only going to continue as, we dig deeper into what actually happened with FTX. So I just thought that was an interesting point that the shares actually rose upon the news that they're investing into this.
Yeah, you think if they get fined $100 million, the price of their shares would go down. But the reason they went up in this case, and you kind of touched on it there, is Coinbase was the first public crypto exchange. So they went public, which means that they're heavily regulated. Everything about the company is transparent. And so the reaction by the markets is probably the market saying, hey, I like the fact that they're being regulated here because it makes it safer for my investment. Whereas something like FTX that never went public and never had any transparency or good governance went to zero. So this is the market saying, hey, thank God that this is a regulated company. I'm fine with this kind of punishment because this means that they can improve going forward and that this is a transparent process.